Good morning and welcome to our Marine Animal Care at SeaWorld Shamu TV presentation. My name is Keith Robinson and we're coming to you from our Animal Care Laboratory. Today you'll meet some of the experts who study and care for our killer whales, penguins, walruses, and even sharks. And during today's show, you can call and ask questions about marine animal care. The number is 1-800-23-SHAMU, and for TDD users, the number is 1-800-TD-SHAMU. The SeaWorld education staff is standing by right now to answer your questions, and then later on during the show, our experts will answer some of your questions live on the air. Just what is animal care? I think you'll be surprised to discover that caring for animals like whales or sea lions is accomplished not just by one person or department, but involves many people and careers. To help us investigate SeaWorld's animal care, our Shamu TV student reporters will take you behind the scenes for a closer look at animal care careers. In fact, let's meet one of our reporters right now, Carl Overstreet. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Keith. Glad to be here.
I understand you have something very special planned for us today.
That's right. I'm going to help feed the dolphins, and I'll be checking in throughout the program to show you how it's going.
Great. We'll look forward to it. Thanks, Carl. As you can imagine, there are many interesting animals here at SeaWorld, and they make some unusual sounds. Listen to this animal. Carl, do you know what kind of animal made that sound?
No, I have no idea.
Do you know? Well, if you do, give us a call. We'll share the correct answer with you later on in the program. A few weeks ago, another Shamu TV student reporter spent some time with one of our veterinarians, Dr. Tom Reederson. Let's see how they spent their day.
Last week, I was fortunate enough to be part of Shamu TV and be able to spend a day with the SeaWorld veterinarian. I also got to bring along my camera. I learned so much. I had no idea that being a veterinarian at SeaWorld involves so much work with so many different kinds of animals. Here, let me show you. Every morning, veterinarians Jim McBain and Tom Reederson, along with the curator of mammals, Tom Goff, make their rounds. They visit all the mammal areas, including the killer whales, dolphins, sea lions, walruses, and otters.
What they eat, Maritza, what they eat by going down. Most of the foods that they eat are on the bottom. They eat shrimp and clams and urchins, sea urchins and crabs, those sorts of foods. Let's go on.
At each exhibit, they observe the animals. They look to see if animals are behaving normally. Every animal acts differently, so they spend time watching each animal. Because the animals are in a healthy environment with plenty of fresh food and clean water, they usually are healthy. But like all animals, sometimes they can become ill. If for some reason an animal displays an unusual behavior, these experts determine if the animal may need to be checked throughout the day or what is necessary to ensure the health of the animal.
This one may have an injured flipper, so we're going to go ahead and examine it. It's pretty good, isn't it? I'm going to go ahead and just flex all the joints. Put a little pressure over it.
Very good.
Not bad.
Good boy.
How's he walking this morning?
Really well.
Okay.
Up here.
Well, maybe it was just a temporary thing. Maybe he just strained one of his ligaments. He looks good this morning.
Feel better?
See?
Another important part of rounds involves routine examinations and obtaining blood and urine samples from the animals. These samples are then analyzed at SeaWorld Laboratory. The results give veterinarians an accurate picture of the animal's health. The group also reviews the trainer's daily behavioral logs, looking for any unusual notes that may indicate that something is wrong with an individual animal. The trainers are an excellent source of reference to normal or unusual behavior from an animal. After morning rounds, Dr. Reederson checks the schedule for the rest of the day. What do you plan on doing today?
Well, I'm going to go to the back area, examine 2 dolphins, an otter, and some of the beach animals that we saw this morning.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Dr. Reederson, for having me here today.
Well, it was my pleasure. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you. Well, that was how I spent my day with Dr. Reederson and the other SeaWorld animal care specialists. It's a lot of work, but I think I'd love to do it every day. To do that, I guess I better get to my biology class. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Beth, dressed and ready to go I'm here with animal care specialist Shannon Lally. Shannon has a job that many of us might enjoy. She helps take care of the dolphins here at SeaWorld. This morning we get to help her. Shannon, how do you start your day?
Well, Carl, the first thing we do is prepare the fish for the animals. We freeze the fish in the freezer behind us, bring out blocks of fish that weigh anywhere from 25 to 50 pounds, put the fish into the sinks overnight, run cold salt water over them and thaw them out, and then bucket the fish in the morning and bring the fish out to the exhibits for the animals.
Wow.
You ready to start? Looks like the fish is ready.
Yeah. I guess now isn't a good time to have an itchy nose. We'll see you in a few moments at the dolphin exhibit.
Thanks, Carl. Maritza, I enjoyed your report, too. It looked like a lot of fun. How did you enjoy spending the day with Dr. Reederson?
It was great, but I had no idea how much work was involved. And I guess I didn't realize exactly what a veterinarian does.
What was the most interesting thing you discovered while following the veterinarians and the curators on their daily rounds?
Well, I guess I never thought about who actually takes care of the animals. I found out that the animal care staff and trainers provide the daily care for the animals, not the veterinarians. Of course, now that I think about it, I guess it's sort of like taking your dog to the vet. The vet diagnoses the problem and prescribes a treatment. Then it's up to you to take care of it.
You're right, Maritza. Quality animal care consists of daily care, as Shannon and Carl are showing us, plus the expertise and knowledge of the vets and curators. Now, earlier, I asked you to call in and identify the animal that made this sound. And we have a caller on the line from Missoula, Montana. Caller, what animal do you think it is?
My name is Jessie Lind from Missoula, Montana, and I think it's a seal.
Right, well, that is a seal, but not just any seal, a northern elephant seal pup. Why are we talking about seals? Well, every year, SeaWorld's Rescue and Rehabilitation Team aids beached and stranded animals, including sea lions, seals, turtles, and birds. Dr. Reederson, Shannon, and the other experts at SeaWorld are important members of the team. By using information gained from the care of our animals, SeaWorld saves hundreds of beached animals every year. But what is a beached animal? An animal may become beached or stranded if it is ill or injured, tired from a storm, or even orphaned from its mother. Let's see how our animal care specialists, veterinarians, and medical technologists recently rolled into action to rescue a beached California sea lion.
SeaWorld Animal Care, this is Shannon. Yeah. Okay, and where exactly is the animal located? Is it a California sea lion or a harbor seal? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Dee, we've got another beached animal up in Carlsbad.
You want to get the long handle net, and I'll get the hoop net and the gloves.
Okay.
Thanks. Usually when we go to pick up an animal, we're never really 100% sure of what we're going after. We get a report from the public, but because they're not well-trained at telling us what kind of animal we're dealing with or how big it is, we're really never 100% sure exactly what we're getting into, but we do our best to prepare for the worst-case scenario when we're going to pick them up. This is, I think, a deep enough net. I'm going to try to get in a position where we can collect this animal safely without causing it any harm. We're taking her to be examined by the veterinarians. They'll see if we can do anything for her eye, and then we'll release her probably down by the island. Now we get to do it in reverse. Oh, you guys got that, huh? Yeah. Brave men. Strap the cage down. This animal definitely has a serious problem with his left eye. There's a good chance he's gone a long time without eating and appears to be pretty severely dehydrated. Normally the first things we do is in the process of offloading the animal, we'll get a gross weight of the animal in the cage and then subtract the weight of the cage so we know what the animal weighs.
As a veterinarian, I first look for signs of shock. In the case of this animal, except for being extremely dehydrated and malnourished, he looks fairly stable at this time. A blood sample is taken, which tells us if there are any internal problems. We also notice that his left eye is blind. His cornea is damaged beyond repair, and he'll probably never regain vision of that eye. This is an electrolyte mixture of sodium, potassium, and chloride. Let's rate it a little bit. It's called Revive, happily named for an animal who is dehydrated. We're giving about 1.5 liters. Here he is being pushed now into a pen where he'll live with another California sea lion. In the case of this animal, we've decided to put him on antibiotics. And here he is about 2 weeks later. He's eating from our animal care specialists, which, as you can imagine, is very satisfying to us.
That's it for breakfast.
Based on this, I think he's ready to go.
Yeah, just slide it into position. Coach. Bow's clear!
Are we going to go all the way off the jetty?
Oh, yeah. Generally, we're going to take the animal far enough out to where we know there's available food. We also are going to try to get it as close as we can in proximity to other sea lions or other sea lion rookeries.
I think it's pretty safe to say that all of us here at SeaWorld find that when you bring an animal in and it needs your help and you're able to help the animal and then release it, it makes you feel pretty good. Yay!
Did you know that SeaWorld has rescued and rehabilitated sea turtles, sea otters, seals, and of course sea lions? How would you like to be a part of the animal rescue team? What a rewarding job. And speaking of rewarding jobs, let's see how Carl and Shannon are doing.
Hi, we're back at the new Rocky Point Preserve. What do we do next?
Well, you're helping me today, right?
Right, I can't wait to feed the dolphins.
Here you go.
Hey, what's this?
Well, an essential part of being an animal keeper here at SeaWorld is to make sure the animals have a nice, clean, healthy environment. And that means we start by cleaning the exhibit. So here you go. You can clean the acrylic first.
Well, I didn't know about this part. Oh, well. I have excellent company. We'll see you in a few.
Thanks, Carl. We'll check in with you in a few moments. Another group of people essential to the care of animals is the medical technologists. As Maritza mentioned, blood and urine samples help us monitor the health of the animals. The samples are analyzed by medical technologists, and the test results are then interpreted by the veterinarians. But what does a blood sample from a marine mammal look like? Last week, Shamu TV student reporter Vince Romaldi found out.
Hi, we're at the SeaWorld laboratory. With me is Bee Stark. Bee, can you tell us a little bit what you do here?
Yes, Vince. In the laboratory, we analyze samples that are collected by the veterinarians, animal care, and training staff. That includes blood samples and urine samples.
Can you show us a little bit on what you look for in a blood sample?
I have a blood smear under the microscope. Do you want to take a look at it?
Sure. What are those things right there?
Those are red cells and white cells. The red cells carry oxygen throughout the body, and the white cells fight infection.
Do all animals carry red and white cells?
Most animals do. This is the human blood. This is the white cell, and these are the red cells. This is a dolphin blood. Can you point out the red cells and the white cell?
Sure. Is that the white cell?
That's right.
And this the red cell?
That's right. And this is an elephant seal blood. Can you point out the red cells and the white cell?
That's the white cell, and this is the red cell.
That's very good. And notice elephant seal red cells are much larger than dolphin cells and human red cells.
Thanks a lot, Bee. This is very fascinating. I guess we got an inside look at marine mammals. I'm Vince Romaldi, signing off. See you next time.
Do we get to feed the dolphins now?
Almost, Carl, but before we begin, we have to make sure that each animal gets the right amount of vitamins.
Vitamins? How do you do that?
Just like this. We take the fish and hide the vitamin right in their breakfast. Just slide it right in. Here, you try it.
I guess they don't make chewable vitamins for dolphins.
No, they don't, but SeaWorld's actually created these multivitamins that are designed just for dolphins and other marine animals.
How many of these do you need?
It depends on the size of the animal and how much that animal wants to eat today.
Cool. When we come back, we'll be ready to feed the dolphins.
Thank you, Bee, Vince, and of course, Carl and Shannon. Do you have any questions about dolphins or other marine animals? If so, call us at 1-800-23-SHAMU. So far, we have focused on the care of marine mammals. But what about the other animals? SeaWorld is home to a variety of birds, reptiles, and of course, fishes. What would you do if you had to care for a shark? I think you'll find this look at shark care very revealing. When most people think of sharks, the last place they want to be is anywhere near them. However, for aquarists at SeaWorld Shark Encounter, being close to these fearsome predators is a vital part of their job. Sharks present some unique challenges for the people that care for them. One challenge is to recreate a shark's natural environment. Many species of sharks at SeaWorld are tropical and live in and around coral reefs. Building a coral reef habitat inside a building takes a lot of planning, time, and hard work. Artificial corals are made using molds from actual coral skeletons. Rocks, trees, and sand are also added to simulate a tropical setting. Water in the shark encounter is kept at a constant temperature. If the temperature gets too hot or too cold, it could be harmful to the animals. Water in the exhibit is kept between 78 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. That's warm enough to take a bath in. And just as you and I like to swim in clean water, these sharks swim in water that is cleaned and filtered throughout the day. Sharks are one of the most fearsome predators in the ocean. Animals such as squids, fishes, seals, sea lions, dolphins, and even other sharks are prey for various sharks. Although this makes sharks sound like voracious eating machines, they aren't. Sharks are cold-blooded fish and don't need as much food as a warm-blooded mammal of the same size. Sharks eat between 1% to 10% of their body weight per week. That means a 100-pound shark eats only a few pounds of food in a week. Compare that to a 100-pound sea otter that eats 15 to 25 pounds of food every day. At SeaWorld, sharks are fed a diet of fresh frozen fish that has been thawed. Larger sharks are primarily fed large fish. The diet of smaller sharks includes shrimp, sardines, whitebait, and squid. And unlike dangerous feeding frenzies often seen on TV, most sharks at SeaWorld are fed by hand. How? Aquarists use feeding tongs that they place into the water. When a shark eats, it simply takes the fish from the tongs. This feeding method ensures the health and safety of both sharks and aquarists. During each feeding session, careful records are kept and observations are made to see how much each shark eats. These records help SeaWorld researchers assess the growth and food intake of various species of sharks. Daily observations and records also help identify any animal that may be ill or females that may be pregnant. If a shark is ill or not eating, aquarists and staff veterinarians are able to collect and analyze blood samples. This helps them diagnose and even administer antibiotics to help treat an illness. If a shark becomes pregnant, she is moved into a separate aquarium until her pups are born. Once the pups are born, she can be moved back into her regular exhibit. Separating pups from larger sharks allows them to grow and mature without the possibility of being eaten. Habitat design, water quality, and daily care are essential aspects of the care of sharks. And remember, some people think being close to a shark is all in a day's work.
Welcome back. We're about to feed the dolphins.
Here you go. We've got 14 animals and 2 buckets to go.
Man, this is great. What do you do after this?
Well, after this, I finish cleaning up around the area, and then I monitor and observe the animals throughout the afternoon. I feed them their lunch around noontime and their dinner around 3:30.
Thanks, Shannon. I didn't realize that working with dolphins involved more than just feeding them. Don't forget, Shannon will be back at the end of our show to answer your questions. This is Carl Overstreet, Shamu TV student reporter. See you next time.
That was great, Carl and Shannon. Thanks for the behind-the-scenes look at dolphin care. Our sea otters, killer whales, and even flamingos all receive the same quality care. But what do we learn from caring for our animals? And what do we do with the information? From external cues like sizes, weights, or eating habits, plus internal cues from blood and urine samples, we have a better picture of what makes a healthy animal. And as you have seen, this information can be used to help a beach seal or to even save a sea otter from the effects of an oil spill. We also use the information to create successful breeding programs. These breeding programs allow us to study the entire life history of a species and can even be used to try to help save endangered animals from becoming extinct. Let's go now to education instructor Miles Brosis, curator of birds Wendy Turner, and some very special endangered birds.
Thank you. And joining me is the curator of birds here at SeaWorld of California, Wendy Turner. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning, Miles.
Wendy, can you tell us what type of penguins these are?
These are Humboldt penguins. While most penguins come from the Antarctic or subantarctic islands, these penguins live off the coast of Peru and Chile, where the weather is much like it is here in Southern California.
Wendy, I understand that Humboldt penguins are facing problems.
Yes, they are. Humboldts dig burrows in guano, or bird droppings, where they nest. And this guano is mined for fertilizer, so their nest sites are being destroyed.
I see. So their habitat is being destroyed.
Yes, that's true. And as well, the fish, which they eat, are declining in numbers. Scientists believe that this is because of overfishing, as well as a warming of the ocean temperatures called El Nino.
What is SeaWorld doing to help the Humboldts?
SeaWorld is part of the Species Survival Plan, or SSP, for Humboldt penguins that was created in the 1980s.
Can you tell us what the purpose of SSPs is?
Yes, SSPs were created to ensure the survival of threatened animals. Here at SeaWorld, we have been breeding Humboldt penguins since the 1970s, and we have hatched and raised over 100 chicks. SeaWorld has the most successful and largest breeding colony of Humboldt penguins in the United States.
How can breeding in places like SeaWorld make a difference?
For example, the nene goose of Hawaii was once on the brink of extinction. Concerned individuals started a program of captive breeding for this species. And although they are still endangered, they have made an amazing comeback due to this program.
Is SeaWorld involved with other SSPs?
Yes, we are part of the SSP for the Asian small-clawed otter. Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida has established SSP programs. Let's go there for a closer look.
Hi, Wendy. Yes, Busch Gardens participates in 6 SSPs. One is for the black rhino. With fewer than 2,500 remaining in their native Africa, the black rhino is in real danger of extinction. Illegal hunting to obtain their horns is the black rhino's greatest threat. Stopping illegal hunting and implementing species survival plans with successful breeding programs are critical steps to prevent the extinction of the black rhino. They're worth the effort, Wendy.
Thank you, Busch Gardens. As you can see, programs such as the SSPs can help ensure the future of endangered wildlife.
Wendy, how can our viewers help?
I think the most important thing is to recognize how fragile our planet is and to care for and protect it, as well as to encourage our friends and family to do the same.
Well, thank you, Wendy, for telling us about species survival plans.
Thank you. I'll be back at the end of the program to answer your questions.
Thank you, Wendy and Miles. That was fascinating. Do you have a question about how we care for the animals? If you do, now is the time to call 1-800-23-SHAMU, because right after this next video, our experts will be here to answer your questions live on the air. Let's look at some of the other people and ways we care for animals.
Here's one. Hi, Sarge. Have a hearing.
named her Missy. That's it, Missy. And then we also have injuries due to fish hooks, getting caught in pouches and wings, entanglement in fishing line.
Okay, well, we got a call this morning about a possible beach sea lion.
Upon arrival, we found a sea lion, a female, approximately 150 pounds on the beach. She seemed lethargic and disoriented.
Scientists gather some information from our beach animal program, just the basic numbers. They also get ideas on how environmental factors are affecting the population, as well as human encounters.
Our goal is to return all of our beach pinnipeds back to their natural environment.
Well, it's significant in that these are the first of this species born in captivity.
A lot of it has to do with the proper lighting and the proper exhibit, the proper diet, food, a number of observations by the entire agriculture staff.
Right now, curator of birds Wendy Turner, SeaWorld veterinarian Dr. Tom Reederson, and animal care specialist Shannon Lawley are ready to answer a few of your calls. So let's take that first call. Caller, you're on the air.
Okay. Hi, I'm Brian from Bozeman, Montana, and I was wondering, is it hard to be a veterinarian for animals?
All right. Dr. Reederson, call from Montana. Caller would like to know if it's hard to be a veterinarian.
Brian, that's a very good question. It takes a lot of years to become a veterinarian. I spent nearly 9 years learning what it takes to get into a practice. I graduated 9 years ago, and I've been working in various practices. And to get to SeaWorld, I spent 4 or 5 years working with beached animals. But it takes a lot of hard work. It's very important for you to spend a great deal of your time learning some of the basic sciences like chemistry and biology. It's a very rewarding career, and if for some reason you don't make it at first, you're not able to get into a veterinary school, I recommend that you keep on trying.
All right, thank you, Dr. Reederson. Next caller, you're on the air.
Hi, my name's Casey, and I'm from Florida. And my question is, if you found a seal stranded on the beach, how would you get it back into the water?
Shannon, caller from Florida would like to know if you found a stranded sea lion or seal on the beach, what would you do to get it back into the water?
If the animal's stranded, that means that it's beached itself or stranded for a reason. Usually, if the animal has come onto shore, it is either ill or injured. So instead of trying to chase or put the animal back into the water right away, we may collect the animal back and take it back to SeaWorld and evaluate its health before deciding whether to release it or not.
Ask it.
That's it.
Now, Shannon, how many animals do you deal with yearly here at SeaWorld of California?
Depending on the year, in certain years when the El Nino hits or the warm water currents off the coast here hit, we can rescue, rehabilitate, or work with anywhere from 300 to 500 individual animals. Just this past summer, we worked with about 200 animals.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Shannon. Next caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Alicia Stone, and I'm calling from Prineville, Oregon. And my question was, did penguins used to fly?
Good question. Wendy, caller from Oregon, would like to know if penguins used to fly.
No, penguins don't fly. Penguins use their flippers to swim through the water, so it almost looks like they're flying in the water. And when they come out of that water and jump, boy, it looks like they've taken to the air, but no, penguins don't fly.
All right, thank you very much, Wendy. Next caller, you're on the air.
Hi, my name's Charity Keeler, and I'm from Lockwood School. My question is, how how do you care for dolphins if they're sick in the sea?
All right, we'll address this question to Dr. Tom Reederson. Caller would like to know how you deal with dolphins if they're sick in the sea.
Well, if a dolphin is, normally when a dolphin becomes ill in the sea, they'll come ashore. And if we discover that a dolphin has come ashore, beached himself, then we'll actually go out, pick up the animal from the beach and bring it back to our animal care facility. Here, we will take care of it first by diagnosing what its problems are and then deciding a form of therapy. Once the therapy is finished and the animal has been completely rehabilitated, then we'll release it back to where it came from. It's a very good question.
Dr. Reederson, is a dolphin or whale an animal that you would commonly see here at SeaWorld?
No, it's not. We will see on the order of 1 or 2 beach dolphins and whales in a year. That's in contrast to seals and sea lions, where we'll see 200 to 300 per year.
All right, thank you, Dr. Reederson. Next caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm Maria Thurtle from Lockwood School in Billings, Montana. I was wondering, how long do dolphins live?
Dr. Reederson, another caller from Billings, Montana, would like to know how long dolphins live.
Well, our best estimates are they live between 30 and 35 years.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Next caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Cox Elementary School in Florida. Bay City, Florida. Do humans always have...
We're on the line from Florida. A little difficult to hear your call. Could you repeat that, please? I'm going to go ahead with a question from a student here in San Diego. He'd like to know, Dr. Reederson, I'll address this to you, what types of surgery do you do on animals?
Well, most of the surgeries that we perform on animals are on seals and sea lions and birds. We even do surgeries on small fishes and even sharks. Occasionally we're asked to perform surgeries, very minor ones, on cetaceans, dolphins, and whales. Those usually are skin biopsies. Occasionally ones that are a little more extensive than that. Most of the surgeries that we do in seals and sea lions are to repair broken flippers or jaws. On fishes, interestingly enough, we remove little tumors from their gills, from their fins. And occasionally we'll do surgeries on birds, such as repair of broken flippers, feet problems, numerous things.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Reederson. Next caller, you're on the air.
How would you put a bandage on an animal that stays wet all the time?
I'm sorry, caller, a little bit difficult to hear your call. Could you repeat that once more?
How would you put a bandage on an animal that stays wet all the time?
Great question. Dr. Reederson, how do you keep a bandage on an animal if it's wet all the time?
That's a very good question. And since they are wet, since most of the animals that we work with are wet all the time, we don't actually put bandages on them. We try our best to use methods that don't require anything on the outside of their body.
All right, interesting. Thank you, Dr. Reederson. And we have another caller on the line. Go ahead.
My name is Pat from Florida. I was wondering what is the different reasons why animals beach themselves?
All right, we'll address this call to Shannon. And Pat from Florida, Shannon, would like to know the reasons why animals beach themselves.
That's an excellent question, because just by looking at the animal, you may not be able to tell right away why it beached itself. If it's very young, it could have been separated from its mother, and in that case, it's very hungry and there's no way for it to find milk, so it may get lost and washed up on shore. If it's an older animal, we'll have to evaluate its health here at the park, and what other animal care specialists may be helping with is helping to take blood and urine samples so that the lab people here at SeaWorld can evaluate the blood and urine samples. So sometimes they disguise it, but it could be anywhere from being separated from its mother, parasites, or internal injuries.
All right, quite informational. Thank you so much, Shannon. Next caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Kevin Eggleston. I'm from Missoula, Montana. How do you give shots to a killer whale?
Once again, caller, if you could repeat the question, a little bit tough.
Hi, my name is Kevin Eggleston. I'm from Missoula, Montana. I was wondering, how do you give shots to a killer whale?
I'm trying to understand, how do you tell the difference between sharks and killer whales? Oh, I'm sorry. How do you give shots to killer whales and sharks? Dr. Reederson, could you address that, please?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We rarely give our shot. We rarely are called to give shots to killer whales, but if we have to, we give them just the way that you would get a shot. We use a needle, and we inject it directly into their muscle.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Next caller, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Lee, and I'm calling from Billings, Montana, Lockwood School, and I was wondering, do you have to go out to college to be a veterinarian animal care specialist at SeaWorld?
Dr. Reederson, do you have to go to college to become a veterinarian or to work in the animal care department here at SeaWorld?
Well, to become a veterinarian, it's necessary that you do attend college. Most of us have spent 4 years in college and then 4 years of veterinary school. To become an animal care specialist, it's recommended that you spend a number of years in college. Most of the people that we have working in our animal care department have spent a number of years learning about animal behavior, physiology, biology, chemistry. So yes, it's necessary to go to college.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Reederson. Here's another question from a student in Washington, D.C. I'll address this to Wendy. Wendy, during the year, when not breeding, do penguins come ashore or do they remain exclusively at sea? Boy, what a good question.
That is a very good question, and penguins do spend most of their lives at sea, about 3/4 of their lives. If you think about it, the food that they eat, fish and krill and squid, are all found in the ocean, so to get their food, they have to stay at sea. They come ashore once a year. The adult birds come ashore to raise their young, but the other birds also come ashore. That's when they molt. That is when they get a new set of feathers, and during that time, of course, they can't swim because their feathers are what keep them waterproof and dry. And as soon as they have those nice new feathers, they go back out to sea and don't come ashore again until the next year.
All right, highly interesting. Thank you very much, Wendy. Next caller, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm Becky Fussnight, and I was wondering, do you have any blue-footed boobies there?
I'll address this question again to Wendy. Wendy, the caller would like to know if we have any blue-footed boobies here at the park, which I assume is a species of bird.
Yes, it is. The blue-footed boobies are seabirds. And no, we don't have any here at the park. We have a lot of seabirds here, puffins, as well, of course, as our penguins. And we do a lot of rehabilitation work with the pelicans that come in injured, just like with the Beached Animal Program. We have a program to rehabilitate seabirds, but it doesn't include blue-footed boobies.
All right, we have time for one final call. Caller, go ahead.
My name is Walter Conley, and I'm living in Glendale, Arizona. I want to know what the #1 cause of sickness in dolphins is.
Excellent question to finish on. Dr. Reederson, a caller from Glendale, Arizona would like to know what the #1 cause is for diseases in dolphins.
Well, the #1 disease in dolphins is disease of their lungs, pneumonia. Probably second to that is our upset stomachs. That is a good question.
All right, thank you, Dr. Reederson, Wendy, and Shannon. Those are all the calls we have time for on the air, but our instructors will continue to answer your calls for the next few hours. And remember, the 1-800-23-SHAMU phone lines are staffed most Fridays. Today, we have explored a small portion of the extensive field of marine animal husbandry and met some of the men and women studying and working with marine animals. Thank you for joining us on Shamu TV for our Marine Animal Care presentation. Remember to tune in March 24th to watch our All About Killer Whales program. We hope to see you back here. Bye-bye, everybody.